have a backbone.
So the marketing piece sounds like you kind of went to school for that. You were trained that. That's the professional piece. So
Yes.
does that make the organizing the passion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Marketing is super cool and I love it, but it's a necessary. The organization part is more for my creative outlet because it's something I can do for the rest of my life and probably will on some level. But I will literally go to anybody's house. Nicole, as an example. Yeah. I stare at her fridge. I'm like, I'm going to do this now.
You remember Nicole from episode 3?
There you go. Shout out to Nicole Gray.
So are you like, is everything organized alphabetically as well, like in your home? Like, are all your labels facing the same direction?
So
do we need to see professional help for this level of organization?
And if one hanger's out of place, does it make you crazy?
A little bit. No, I mean, in my family growing up, like I cook a lot.
Okay.
So I have a very specific style. I think you eat with your eyes first. So when you, like anything, the visual is the point. But for any type I've ever had, and I've had a ton of entertaining over the years personally, and so every plate matches.
Okay.
Everything matches. Not cookie cutter, but it's a complement. So I either have silver or white plates and trays.
So you are psychotic.
I feel like it's a refined version of myself. Okay. But it's more, so this is a funny story. So I was at a women's holiday something a few years ago. And I'm talking to one of my friends. This is when Amazon was really like coming up. It's probably like 8 years ago now. So 10 years ago. So she was like, oh, I love Amazon. You can just order forks or spoons and they come. And my follow-up question was, do they match? And she goes, no, they don't match. I'm like, oh no. And so we always
each other, you mean?
Yeah. So we always used to, it wasn't a full set. So we always used to have a Boxing Day party. Boxing Day is the day after Christmas, British holiday. For those who don't know, look it up. It's a great time. It's like all the joy of Christmas, just no presents or stress, just eating and drinking.
So Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. So this particular friend, we had, there's 60 people in my house. She comes in with her husband. She goes, whatever, comes in my kitchen, like comes behind the counter, and she starts looking. She's like, she looked at me. She's like, are you psychotic? I'm like, no, I just like organize, like everything has its place.
So you're British.
I am allegedly British.
Did the CIA teach you to lose your accent? Like what?
So
does it come out under stress?
Yeah, it's on command. We can mock our mother pretty easily.
Okay.
So we immigrated when I was almost 6. And so there were 4 of us, 4 siblings. And I'm the third, so 2 girls, me, then a younger brother. And my mother, she'd made a lot of our clothes. She's very, like, British people have a certain amount of, there's an etiquette, there's a proper influence, there's a regalness to, British, like the Queen's English British, that's what we are. So, like, we were seen and not heard. We were, like, knife and fork. We were not allowed to leave the table until not only was our dinner finished or meal finished, but we had to have our knife and fork at the 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I thought it was.
No, straight down. So, we went to elocution. Very British. So, elocution is when you know.
Aware, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, you can let the people know.
Did you do it with a book in your head?
Probably. No, elocution is when they teach you how to speak.
When they speak you how to talk.
They speak you how to talk. So, like, you'd recite like how now brown cow. So you had the right enunciation, the right volume in your voice, the right lilt, all these things. So anyway, we immigrate. My mom would dress us all alike. So 3 little girls in elementary school in like matching pinafore dress. No gloves, but like patent leather shoes. So we were, as I like to call it, we were moving targets. So 3 girls, my brother was still like preschool. 3 girls dressed all alike with British accents. Kids are so great with acclimating new children. Yeah. So and then my middle sister, she'll love this when she sees it. She has a mean streak in her still. Yeah. So I was in 2nd grade, she was in 5th. There was show and tell, and our parents, much like every kid in the 70s, is like a latchkey kid. We were feral. We were all feral, drinking through from hoses, being out, locked out of your house all day.
Absolutely.
So my parents show and tell. They're like, whatever. They didn't. I don't even think I told them. So I say to my sister, I'm like, I have show and tell tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to bring. So she gives me a metal egg slicer, that you use from a Niçoise salad. She told me it was a Japanese guitar because everything in Japan is small. So I took it in and I played it. Chink, 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 in front of the class.
It's completely reasonable.
The teacher must have been like, "Where are your parents?"
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it was an interesting acclimation. Plus, my mom would do. We asked for peanut butter and jelly, and she gave us peanut butter and mint jelly. Doesn't go. No. Or
For the lamb, right? The mint
yes,
jelly?
it is. It's for it is for a roasted leg of lamb on a cold British day.
For a cold
Standard.
lamb sandwich.
Ham sandwich.
Lamb.
Cold lamb sandwich.
No,
Sandwich.
pass.
So you go through all that, right? When
Yeah.
you're younger, you have to learn how to make friends.
Which I don't have a problem doing, but yes.
No, but so that's got to lend to what you're doing now a little bit, right? Like client acquisition. How does that, is it as daunting as being a 6-year-old British girl trying to make new friends, or?
Sometimes, I guess, but that's funny. I look at it as every opportunity, even if, we were just discussing this in our meeting, even if it's not something you can convert to business, I still think it's an opportunity to meet people.
Okay.
I still think it's an opportunity to lend yourself to something pleasant for them. We are, now more than ever, it's very sad that, we've become so polarized for a million reasons, right? And people sort of stay in their corner. I think that we are more alike than we are not.
Sure.
As humans, but people forget that. So my intention, whether that's a client or anything, the interaction, I want to leave that person with something better than we started.
Okay.
That's my intention, and that should be with any client situation. Obviously, they're paying you for a service, but I want them to leave that situation, leave that experience, and think, wow, this person made it better for me. It made it easier, and now I feel incredibly confident to hand this person and give them a referral because I know the quality of work that they're providing.
So most of what you get is through the referral base?
Yeah,
or?
I since I started the home organization, it's all referrals. And now, because Pat made me go back on social media.
On the Facebook.
The Facebook.
Or the book face, or any of them I call. So so my socials are gaining, but they're a little. I'm not promoting as heavily as I could be, but I will. It's just we're all busy, and that's when we'll get some younger, sleeker 22-year-old to post. But yeah,
I feel like the genuineness of social media now is really some of the only way to communicate with the outside world. Hell, you don't even need to go to get food anymore. You can just order it on your phone and the doorbell rings and you go in and it's sitting there. There's not even any sort of interaction.
Well, it's wild, right? So, I mean, I'm a local coffee shop guy for the most part, but from time to time when you're out and you're traveling, you can't find something, you go to Starbucks.
Yes.
Right? And even that interaction has been reduced, right? So people will go to the coffee shop, but I've watched people order it on their phone in the car, wait for it to come up, walk in, grab it, and walk out without ever speaking to anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
So then puts you in a position where you go to talk to somebody, and we've talked about this in a lot of it.
What do you want?
Yeah, hey, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what do you want? And you're like,
Right, because they're defensive.
right,
It's very sad.
and again, my favorite thing, and we teach our kids this too, is thank you for being here today, right?
Yeah.
I was at the grocery store yesterday, or Saturday, and I just grabbed some stuff, which, little sticker shock. It's the first time I've been in a grocery store for a long time.
It's painful.
I got 10 things, and the woman was like, that'll be $107, and I was like,
Did I break a window?
You're these aren't. It's just ramen.
I said, I got cheese and shrimp. What's going on here? She goes, things are expensive now. And I go,
Turns out.
apparently, I
Yeah.
guess they are.
Yeah.
And but I said to her, thanks for being here today. She goes, well, I didn't have a choice.
Wow.
I said, well, you did.
You did.
It might not have been the best choice, but you did have a choice, right? So there's just this defensiveness even when you try to truly engage with people.
Well, and that's what it comes down to. We look at all these, any employee, it is not hard. Just like any relationship, it doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to figure out, like, you play to people's strengths. I've said this to my kids' teachers. I've said this to many, for the years. But you don't know me as well. But I know nothing about sports, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm not learning now.
No cricket?
No, none of it. Golf and soccer were watched as children, but to me it was the time to nap next to my dad, because it was very quiet and nice and sleepy, whatever. But when you look at how any person manages either their relationship, the personal relationship, whether that's romantic or friendship or whatever, if you have a team of quarterbacks, who's catching the ball? And that's what I think about when you're talking about any type of relationship, but especially as that relates to employee retention. Not everyone is going to be a superstar, but everybody has a core competency. They have a strength. That's why you hired them. So why do we not play to that? But it will not only make the employee feel like they're doing a great job, because it's validation, but also they're going to be happier and they're going to be pleasant.
Happy employees that's good. We like
everything.
happy employees.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, you guys both know when you're thinking about any type of employee retention, and that person walks out the door, the institutional knowledge walks with them. Plus, it takes you, months to backfill the position, so there's a void there. But then they have to train, and oftentimes you're hiring a recruiter, so you're paying a fee, whatever the thing might be.
Some employers' tactic is to constantly be filling that entry level person.
Yes, which
so
is
they don't,
fine.
so they can cap their costs. And we've talked about it in many of these podcasts that you can either have worked for somebody terrible and be terrible yourself, or you can go the opposite and be extra nice and accommodating, and so and hopefully sustain that. All roads don't lead to being awful. You don't want that.